Hi, you guys. I needed a little processing time today. I'm having some memories pop up. It started last night, actually. I was actually really, really relaxed. I had a little self-care. Actually, I had a massage for myself, which I don't really do often enough. I had read a book for a couple hours. It was really mellow. And then just I crawled into bed, closed my eyes, and then out of nowhere, my mind just started reliving some very detailed moments with Sarah and the death process. And I managed to shut down the first thought, drifting, and realize that was happening. And then it happened again. And that one, I was like, okay, I need a little help. So I crawled over to Jared, and he held me for a little while and just tried to refocus my thinking. But it's the quiet times that are the hardest moments. And it's very, very small little details that get focused on. I'm going to talk a little bit about those memories. And if you're triggered by hearing symptoms or descriptions of what it's like to pass, or now is the time to not listen anymore, because I need to get it out. I'm hoping that getting it out will hopefully maybe at least let these thoughts move on out of my head and not come back up tonight when I try to close my eyes. The first thought that kind of came out of nowhere was, there is a time nurses would come and visit from hospice and kind of just check and see where she was at, her status, blood pressure, heart rate. It was also to gauge where are we at within the death process. What stages are we at? Her comfort, what she needed, caring for her basic needs, making her feel like a human all at the same time, adjusting medications as we needed to. But there was one moment. Things oftentimes with young people, and this is what the hospice nurse told us, change very quickly. We go from not a whole lot happening to all of a sudden we're going downhill very fast. And that has a lot to do with young bodies aren't meant to die. Our bodies and our mind is fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. And it can look very different from when an older individual is ready, where it can be very gradual and a very more predictable decline. So that was one of the things that it was hard to leave, because you never knew, okay, she feels stable right now, but if I go home for the night, what will be here tomorrow? 1 minute, she's talking to us, the next minute she can't respond at all. But there is one moment that keeps popping up that we had a lot of discussion about her stomach and her bowels, and you want to keep people comfortable. And there is we were told, eventually we'd start seeing signs of shutting down. She wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking. And there finally came a time where the nurse was listening to her gut and her bowel sounds, and there were no bowel sounds. And that was kind of a real hard moment, because you knew we were getting closer. It's one thing to see her kind of sleeping day after day, not really awake, but to all of a sudden, and her heart rate just going crazy. So much anxiety around it. Just waiting for her to shut down. And it's really getting to me right now. In this moment. Try and unpack it a little here. Why did that memory come up for me? Feels like a little ice pick that's sharp and relentless, just kind of tapping its way into my brain when I don't want it to. There was a second memory so that was the first one. And then I was able to kind of redirect myself. And then there was a second one that came up, which is I'm not going to fully describe it because I don't think I can say it out loud, but I will tell you that the amount of education about death in our country is horrific. And you do not prepared for when it happens, what your loved one is going to look like. Nobody tells you that it takes more energy to hold your eyes closed than it does to hold them open. Or that it takes more energy to hold your mouth closed. I don't know if I said eyes or mouth. Either way, both of those things. It takes more energy to keep them closed than it does open. So when you have no energy left and your heart stops, you can imagine what those two things do. And I had no idea. And to see someone like that, as a friend, with no soul, How it haunts you. It'll haunt me the rest of my life. It's a mental image that doesn't go away ever. And yeah, that's an image that comes back in very, vulnerable moments, quiet moments. When I have my guard down, it just appears. But now now that I've gotten that, voiced that and processed that, and I'm remembering the remember me and don't remember that part. Remember me. And that's what I've struggled with the past year, is getting past those. Getting past that, pushing through it to get to the good stuff. Okay. My head feels a little emptier now, so thanks for listening. I haven't talked about those little details before out loud. It's always been stuck in here. So I'm even tempted to maybe draw it out and see if that can help too, to let those things wash away. It seems like a bad day, but really it's a bad moment. It's not a bad day. It's actually been a good day. But sometimes you just have to let it out and cry and process it out loud in order to get it out of your head and move on. And to feel again. To feel something other than what you felt in the moment. So once again, thank you for listening, and I hope that helps somebody else that's struggling to break through those bad memories and trauma, and to try to get to the good memories and remember them.